that we do tend to get taken in by things because they present themselves in a way that takes us off guard. And maybe I was not wrong to chuck the kitten down the stairs. Hello. I'm sorry, I gave this video a rather clickbaity title. It's not wrong, but I'll tell you all about it in a minute. I just want to say, as a sort of introduction, if you've been watching my recent videos, you'll notice that I've become really interested in whether there are other worlds, non-material worlds around us, whether there are higher vibrational beings, spirits, guardian angels, beings from other dimensions. Because if there are, I really want to know about them. And for the last few years I've been kind of settled in a very materialistic view that, well, there's nothing you can do about it, you can't see it, so why bother about it. But in recent months, through YouTube, I've come to an understanding that lots and lots of people do actually experience hints, glimpses, or even full-blown contact with these worlds that we mostly don't know about in the everyday world. And also, a lot of people are giving a sense that something is imminent. I mean, they're always saying that. I remember in the change of the millennium, people were saying, oh, something momentous is going to happen. We're all going to have a planetary shift. I don't know, the beginning of the age of Aquarius, wasn't it? And now it's some kind of equinoctial, precessional shift. There's always something. Well, lots and lots of people are saying, oh, something big's going to happen this year, 2025. Well, that's going to be easy to verify, isn't it? Because we're in 2025 and all we have to do is live through it, and then at the end we can say, well, did it happen? Was there something momentous happening? And if it does happen, I want to be there for it. The thing is, I do live in a material world, and I seem to have to rely on so-called mediums and trance channelers and people who can do psionic stuff to give me hints of what it might be like. I imagine eventually, if I practiced it, if I focused on it, I could get there myself. Recently I've been listening to the telepathy tapes, which is a really interesting series of tapes about autistic children, not just one but hundreds, maybe thousands of autistic children who are kind of written off as intellectually subnormal just because they can't communicate with their bodies. And it turns out that they can actually communicate with their minds, mostly with their mother or their immediate carer, but also with teachers. And that once they're given the opportunity, a lot of them can get a kind of rudimentary control over their hand, say, so they can use a pointer to spell out words on a spelling board. Turns out that they've got quite complex intellectual lives going on in there. And it seems such a shame that because we are fixated on this materialistic view of the world where everything has to be verifiable according to the traditional standards, we're just keeping them isolated in this way. And maybe they're pioneers, maybe they're there to show us that we can all reach this level of ability, using our minds in a different way to the way we've traditionally assumed they're meant to be used. So yeah, I'm working on the principle that if I'm open to it and if I try a few things, maybe I'll get there. The thing is, it's a bit worrying. You listen to different trance channelers, who purport to channel beings of superior wisdom from other worlds. Well, I guess they think they're superior, I don't know. And they come across with rather fundamentally different concepts of what things are like. You have one trance channeler saying that, oh, people don't ever reincarnate except as humans. They don't reincarnate as animals. And then you get another trance channeler saying, oh, we've all had incarnational experiences as plants and, I don't know, any kind of living being whatsoever. And you think, well, who's right? Maybe there isn't an ultimate truth. Maybe we all have slightly different truths. That's a scary concept, because you want to you want some assurance that what you're believing is actually objectively true. Is like, well, if it's only what I'm thinking and nobody else thinks that, then what is the point? There's no communication, there's no point of contact with anybody over it. Anyway, so I've been focusing a bit on dreams lately, because it seems to me that during dreams there is the possibility of getting messages from the beyond or from your spirit guides or what have you. Trouble is that even then you don't really know who they are. And the thing about throwing the kitten down the stairs, well, the other day I was having a dream which seemed to fall into the category of unusual dreams. It wasn't the usual kind of slushy rehashing of the previous day's events in a different form. I was in this house, I was in a bed, and there was this little kitten, a little black and white kitten, came bouncing in, jumped up on the bed, and my first reaction was, oh look, it's a little kitten, it's just like the one that we used to have. And then it kind of started to jump towards me, and I realised that kittens were not allowed in the bed. And I kind of shooed it away and it wouldn't go, so I picked it up and I went and threw it down the stairs, which sounds awful, but it wasn't a real kitten, it was a dream kitten. And it probably wasn't a kitten at all anyway, it was probably some kind of representation of a being. What do I know? All I knew was this kitten shouldn't be in my bed kind of bouncing up towards me in that uninvited manner, and traditionally in my family kittens weren't allowed on beds anyway, so that's where that idea came from, maybe. So I threw this kitten down the stairs. In fact, I think there were 2 little kittens that I threw down the stairs, and then I was kind of listening, because I was instantly regretting this and thinking, God, have I injured them? And to my left there was this mother cat standing there, just standing there, and I was thinking, oh well, she'll go down and see to them, but she didn't move, she just stayed there. So when I woke up, I was ruminating on this dream and thinking, well, that seems to be fairly symbolic of something, but I have no idea what. Was this my spirit guide trying to get in touch with me? Was I being awfully rude in pushing it away? And should I really have paid more attention and allowed it to communicate and listened? If you're going to present yourself in a non-scary way, how do you present yourself? Well, the most unthreatening form, I should imagine, in the entire world is a little fluffy kitten, right? Little playful kitten. And maybe my guide was just trying to not scare me. But I thought about it some more, and I thought, well, if there was some kind of malevolent force, let's say, a demon or something that I hadn't actually wanted to invite into my life, how would they present? They'd present as a little fluffy kitten, obviously. When I was a teenager, I wrote this little poem, which I'm now going to inflict on you if I can remember it. It is below a flowery show that brimstone rivers seethe, and velvet paws have hidden claws, and silky jaws have teeth. You cannot see what there may be unless you look beneath. Which, okay, teenage poetry, but that's the general idea, and I think it's probably universally true that we do tend to get taken in by things because they present themselves in a way that takes us off guard. And maybe I was not wrong to chuck the kitten down the stairs. Maybe if a being that was really on my side, really friendly, really helpful and loving, if they wanted to contact me, maybe they wouldn't try to take advantage of me by disguising themselves as a kitten and leaping on the bed and kind of rushing towards me like that. And the mother cat as well. Was it a mother figure? Was it... I don't know what it was, but it was just standing there. It wasn't looking after the kittens. if it was a mother, if it was a real mother, it would look after the kittens, wouldn't it? It would go downstairs and say, "Oh, are you hurt? Poor little thing." And it didn't, it just stood there. So I don't know what that was all about, but I thought I'd talk about it, because talking about things sort of fixes them in your mind and maybe gives a bit of clarity, and then maybe later you get another insight and you think, oh yeah, that's what that was about. And hey, why not? So now you know the story, and I will leave it there and see you next time. Bye.